God Almighty has enriched this entire planet. The entire surface of the planet is filled with beauty and art, artistry, and expression of God's love to His creation. It's sort of like a love story. My name is Malika Ayubi, and I consider myself a Sufi artist. My preferred media is Islamic calligraphy paintings. I work with acrylic on canvas mostly. I also do my own handmade Islamic decorations for parties and events. And I also do weddings and other events, decorating for those. Yes.
You said you consider yourself a Sufi artist. What is that actually?
Well, Sufism, and this is based on, I've been following the teachings of the Naqshbandi Tariqa for almost 20 years now, under the teachings of Maulana Sheikh Hasham and his Grand Sheikh Maulana Sheikh Nazim. And these are teachings based off the life of the Prophet Muhammad, his very intimate way of teaching the Sahaba about good manners and character, and basically how to live and how to reach the love of Allah, reaching the love of Prophet. You know, I'm a mother of four, and I've pretty much spent my whole life, you know, as an interior stylist, interior decorating. I think every woman or every person even wants to have a beautiful home. And me as a Muslim woman, I wanted art that could reflect my remembrance of Allah. So 10 years ago, I began looking online for, you know, modern art. And 10 years ago, there wasn't a whole lot of that. There was, you know, the mainstream calligraphy with art of the ink and the paper, and that was nice, and it was very traditional, but it wasn't feeling, it wasn't what I wanted for my home. I wanted color. I wanted larger letters. I wanted something very much in your face. And everything that I was seeing was just not fitting that bill for me. So I thought, you know, I'm just going to do it myself. As I started, you know, wanting to paint, looking so deep in the internet, and I found this artist. It was an Iranian artist. And if you've ever delved into Iranian calligraphy art, you are in for a beautiful adventure. They are bursting with color and animation of the calligraphy, and it's just a feast. And this excited me so much, and I thought, where in the world, how am I going to get my hands on this art? And many of the pieces were going for thousands of dollars. Like, you know, American curators had gotten to many of these artists and were charging enormous amounts that I was never going to be able to afford. And I came across an artist by the name of Nasrallah Afjay. His work, he was creating shadows and animating the letters in a way that I hadn't seen at all. They were paintings, were the calligraphy, which, you know, it's found in some traditions where the letters overlap and they intermingle and they play off of each other. But his work was like a dance. These letters were mingling with each other in a way that I hadn't seen. And so I really took to his work and I started studying it. I took him as a mentor and I started studying his work. I stumbled on an artist by the name of Khalid Al-Sai. Khalid Al-Sai, his work is really just a symphony of the abjad, the Arabic calligraphy system. They are just bursting and dancing and interweaving and so many things that I can't even put adjectives on. And I was just excited to see his work. These two artists are who I consider to be my mentors and teachers. And last fall, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about the work of Khalid Al-Sai, and she said, you know, he came to U of M about 10 years ago, and I have his email, and I'll pass it off to you. I don't know if it's the same or it changed, but I'll pass it off to you. And she did, and I emailed him, and he wrote back. And you can't imagine how elated I was to even correspond with someone of his enormous talent. He is the very top notch to me of calligraphers. So he said, you know, I'm coming to U of M teaching a seminar class. You're welcome to come. And that I did. And I met him, and his heart is so big, and he's so generous. And he just walked me through. He gave a slideshow of his work, and then he offered to at least 40 people that were in that class to just go around and check on the work. He wanted us to do a piece there with him, whatever we chose to do. And he walked around and he made sure we were all doing it right and what to work on. And very warm individual, very giving. He was not feeling well himself, and he still showed up and still gave so much. So that to me is the Sufi character, you know. And he talks himself about the work of Sayyidina Rumi and so many Sufi masters and artists and poets, and so that's the kind of artist that I hope I can be, someone who's tolerant and giving and generous and loving. To me, that's Sufi artwork. I guess just recently, I really wanted a dervish. I really wanted a whirling dervish. A dervish is, okay, in the Turkish tradition, they are people who express their love in a style of, not dance, what looks to be like an eternal pirouette. And this represents the returning to love, returning to guidance, returning. And Sayyidina Rumi himself did this expression of movement as a way of loving God. And he would whirl and whirl until they saw him rising off the ground in this rapture of love. And this is still continued today in Turkey. And if you ever have a chance to watch it, it's the most heart-opening kind of expression to watch. You know, sometimes I watch these whirling dervishes and I cry because it's so beautiful. It looks like, to me, if you could draw what it looks like to surrender to love, to surrender to what God is asking, whatever that is. That's what surrender looks like, and love, just this rapture of love. Because colors can do so much for us. Colors are meant to do so much for us, and traditionally colors are connected with emotions or other kinds of meanings, and they can relate a kind of feeling or upliftment. So if one pays attention to that, even if they're not aware, just seeing a lot of my paintings I do are different hues of blue, because to me blue or variations thereof really calm me. Lately I've been wanting to do a peachy pink. It's very popular now, blush. These colors inculcate a feeling of calmness, a feeling of soothing, and in such a turbulent world, I think that's very important. Whether you wear it, put it in your house, put it on a prayer rug. Now there's even Qurans that have beautiful, vibrant colors. And this is all to say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala meant to do this. He meant for us to be excited or healed or soothed or motivated by what we see. I spend the majority of my life just trying to beautify things, trying to make things beautiful. And what better to marry something beautiful with than something that serves as a reminder that we're coming from God and we're returning to God. And in the middle of all that, we're having a conversation, trying to remember that in this particular where we are in time, there is so much ugliness, so many attempts to strip humanity of its dignity, of its beauty, of its character that is just innately God-given beauty, you know. I think that's what religion attempts, or spirituality attempts to do, is to nourish and foster the beauty, the God-given beauty that's in every human being. So there are forces, I think, attempting to strip that away from humanity. And I think that art, especially art that is governed by spirituality, whether it be song, dance, like I do visual art, poetry, photography, whatever expression it means that there is and is connected to meaning, it will be very instrumental in sort of resurrecting spirit of love that is so desperately needed right now. So if anything, I hope that when people see my art and they are looking to beautify their homes, that Malika Arts is a contestant, because I do believe that art is a way of resurrecting spirit. At least it resurrects mine.